Well, it's lovely to see you, and for
You
those
as well.
online, welcome to pod number three. Number three already. How crazy is
Number
that?
three, we're basically at 44.
Right? Honestly, in the world I live in, yes, December is not only super soon, it's almost as though it was like yesterday, because it's already happened to some extent in my mind.
I I'm excited for the day that you arrive to the place on your timeline where time
Yeah,
isn't moving like that anymore.
we'll get there. It sounds like
Yeah,
you have some, hmm, updates.
I do. I don't know. So there's one thing that I think I alluded to in the voice note that I sent you that
hmm
I can't speak of it yet because
Oh,
it will
see,
be yeah.
on the topic of edging, circling back to pod number one, you left me on the cliffhanger, and then I'm all excited. I'm like, okay, we're gonna jump on pod. I'm gonna hear where Lindy's going next. I fully was thinking like you'd be in India for, I mean, who knows how long. Time doesn't really exist for you, so I was just like, okay, she's in
Mm-mm.
India now and will be for my foreseeable future. Um, why
It's a
is
really
it
sweet.
a secret?
Well, so first of all, it's a really sweet thing how many people in my life tend to feel that way about me that they're like I had somebody a few weeks ago reach out to tell me that they were going to be like in and around Asia at like the end of June, and I was like, cool. Like I love you and I would love to see you. That's a billion lifetimes from now and like I'm
Yeah,
not going to be yeah, but a lot of people tend to like place me where I'm at, which makes sense. But yeah, I don't place me where I'm at.
beautiful.
India. Someone else was like, "I'm going to be in India in October," and I'm like, "What do you mean far away?" Anyway, I I mean everywhere that I go, right? It's like as long as it feels right, and I've been really grateful to be here, and I'm happy to be where I am currently. But I'm kind of like yeah, I was thinking about it a few days ago and I was just like, okay, but after I'm here for another 2.5, 3 weeks in the place that I'm staying. And I was kind of feeling into it, which is how I know what's coming, right? Just kind of like expanding myself out, like where am I supposed to go, whatever. And just nothing else in India. It's like there's nowhere else I want to go here. Maybe at some point, but there's different energy, right? When you're like traveling and you don't have anything else to do versus when it's like, no, you're like working on a startup and you're writing a book and you're doing a lot of other stuff. And so there's some places that I'm like, it's almost, you're kind of half in, half out. And so there's places that I'm like, I'd rather fully be in them when I'm not doing other stuff, right? Or it's like if I've got other stuff to be, yeah. Um, yeah, and so right now it just kind of is like, okay, yeah, you can be done with India. And the next, so I've had the energy open to like, what am I supposed to do after that? Something I've learned very painstakingly over the last few years is that like I know when I'm allowed to speak about. I've done this to you actually a few times, right? Where sometimes I'll like send you a very cryptic voice note being like something really important happened. I can't talk to you about it, but like months from now I might circle back and be like, "Oh, this was the moment that I like told you about."
A
And so
tease.
what's coming for April until it has solidified more, I don't want to speak of it. Um I was thinking about this as I went to bed last night, and I almost feel like because for me, I'm very comfortable with not being attached to things, right? Where I'm just like, if somebody showed up and they're like, I'm going to give you everything you ever wanted, I'm like, cool. And then the next day they're like, never mind. I'm like, cool. Like that's fine. Other people's energy, as soon as like if you tell someone else that someone is going to give you everything they ever wanted, then they get really excited about it. And then they're attached to that idea. And it's like you get that energy all around it. And so I think that that applies to like manifestation. And I'm like, yeah, I can't speak about things until I know that it's time. So anyway, giant cliffhanger. But by next week, I maybe will know where I'm going. Yeah.
Honestly, I respect that, and I hear what you're saying about, I don't know, a past version of me. I think was a bit open with my manifestations. I was an open book with everything
Hmm.
because I'm like, oh, like this is me. Like, why not share it with the world? However, not everyone is as, let's say, magnanimous as
Hmm.
us. Not even that they have ill will or ill intention towards you, but maybe subconsciously they hear something you're doing and they're like, oh, I wish I could be doing that, or like that type of energy, or like
Or she
they
shouldn't
won't
do that.
really, yeah, exactly. And so, like, without even intending to, or with intending to, like, I'm not gonna pretend to know, um, the energy of that can have an impact on whatever you're manifesting. So I do respect the chosen silence on this front.
Thank
That's
you.
valid.
Yeah, it's funny because I only started actively thinking about this in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, of just kind of what I was sharing and what I wasn't. But I've always been a really like private person. Like I, especially the first few years that I was like deep on, the spiritual healing journey, whatever, it was like I wouldn't tell anyone anything. I would actually get, this is something I had to really work through. I would get like actively angry just inside. I wouldn't express it, but it would feel so painful to me if my dad would ask me like where I was staying. I would be in some like developing country on the other side of the earth. No one even knows. I'm basically texting my family on the runway, being like, by the way, I'm going to like wherever. And they're like, okay. And my dad would just be like, can you just share where you're staying? Because he loves me. It's not like he was going to show up and do anything, right? But there was like this thing in me that was like so, it felt like someone was like trying to come in and like put a cage around me, even just letting someone know
Mm,
where I was sleeping. And it had
mhm.
nothing to do with my dad and everything to do with the fact that I just didn't want anyone to know anything about me. But looking back, I'm like, I think so much of it was just like trauma patterns and just nobody understands me, and that stuff. But a lot of it too was that I was like, I'm literally no one understands what it is that I'm doing. And so even trying to kind of vocalize it, it was almost this like, yeah, without knowing it, I kind of knew that I was like, I can't even speak about this because I'm still coming to understand it. And bringing other people's energy in is like, it, they definitely don't get it if I hardly get it. So it's just, yeah, it's such a fine
That's
line of
what.
being open hearted and sharing and, being in community. And then also being like, no, but there's some stuff that it's just yours until it's ready.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Actually, is like, did you know what you were doing? Because then it's like that. It becomes this mirror of like the questions they ask. Again, maybe with intention, maybe not. It's like, hmm, it boils your blood because you're like, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, give me a year, give
Right.
me maybe 3 years, and then ask me
Maybe
again
five.
where I am spending the night. 5 to 10 years, and I'll get back to you.
Talk to me next lifetime, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm still figuring it out.
Like
And that's a lifelong endeavor.
so much. It's so hard to explain. And I feel like a lot of my writing almost points to this, but it's that thing where it's like my entire life, I knew exactly what I was doing and I had no idea at the same time, right? It's like I didn't know in the sense that it was like, well, yes, like I'm building a house and the house will, be made of bricks and it will be painted this color and it will like whatever. Don't paint brick, actually. If it's made of brick, just let it be brick. That's something that we've got to move away from as a
Side
society,
note.
strong
Hmm.
feelings. Um, but it was like each individual brick that I picked up, I was like, I know that I need to pick this brick up and set it down. I have no idea what the larger thing is, but like as surely as I need to breathe, I know that this next thing is the thing that I need to do. Even if all of the voices in my head are actually screaming, like, this doesn't make any sense. And my hands are just kind of like, I don't know. And I'm just like setting bricks down, right? But it was, and I think that's where part of this talking about it was so hard too, is because I'm like, by all logical purposes, everything I'm doing is insane. And so I know that, and the voices in my head know that. And so as soon as I try to say that to an outside person, their logic voices and and I'm like, I can't explain it, but I just, there's some bigger voice in me that is screaming, sometimes whispering, just like, okay, but this is what you've got to do, and it all makes sense eventually. And it's like, okay, but when?
You know, it's funny. This pod is a beautiful thing because, like, in speaking about these things, I reflect on, like, the layers of meaning. Like, there's things that I thought I decoded the meaning in, and then I'll hear you talk about it. I'm like, oh, there's more. Because the way you feel or felt, there's always more. The way you felt about like telling your dad where you were sleeping. First of all, when you were saying that, I'm like, that's how I feel when my mom asks me anything ever, you know. Part of that,
Isn't it nuts?
part of that is because it's like the script that they run through where it's like, how are you? What are you doing today? How was your day? Like, and
Right.
it's just, you know, the
You're like,
21
you're not
questions. And
actually
you're not even listening, you
present.
know. She's
Yes.
scrolling reels on Facebook or whatever they're called. I don't know. Um, full body shake. And that was my first thought upon hearing that. But I've already kind of like reflected on that, and then at a deeper level, I was like, oh my god, like that's how I feel when I share about Ari. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the time, because when I share about it, I still kind of give a different, I guess, narrative depending on who I'm speaking to. And in the
Mm-hmm.
environment I'm in now, a little sunny San Clemente, very conservative area, I give a pretty watered down version of it. And even when I don't, like the word psychedelic is often met with, I don't know, various different things. And so
People
then
have
it's
their
kind of like
preconceived notions.
exactly navigating their energy when like I'm still navigating my own. I don't really like want to deal with yours too. But it's like what it comes back to is I don't enjoy sharing about Ari unless I'm sharing in my fullest truth about Ari. And my fullest truth about Ari expands far beyond the psychedelic space. And I think that's true for both of us, where it's like that's where we're starting. It makes the most sense. There's a gap there, and we're going to help hopefully a lot of people. But there's no reason to limit it to the psychedelic space in the long term. And so I'm excited for the day when like on every front with every person, and I mean, you know, might as well be today. I just share the deepest and fullest truth about Ari, or I don't share at all. You
Right.
know, like if someone asked me to share, I'm like, how much time you got? Because
Yeah.
this is my heart and soul. And you know, hopefully they have the presence and honesty to just be like, yeah, never mind. You know, as a save both of us a ton of time. Because it's the worst thing to like share about your heart and soul with someone who's not even listening or doesn't care or like can't comprehend it. And that's most people with what we're doing. And so it's like the pod is the perfect avenue to share it, you know, and
Yeah.
then our people will find us.
Well, that's, you spoke to something that I was thinking as you were going, right? Is that it's like asking somebody like, how much time do you have? Because if I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to tell it, then I'm going to tell it all.
Yeah.
And like assessing in yourself, like how much presence does this person have?
Yeah.
Sure, you can ask them, but a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm totally here. And they're, flipping and they're out, they're
I'm
going on.
listening. I'm listening. I'm
Exactly. Like,
multitasking,
I'm really good at
which
this. I'm
I'm
really good at
guilty of.
this. But yeah, just being like, and again, that was something for me that I probably took to the extreme, but there was a while with just every part of me that I was like, unless I actually feel like the person that I'm sitting with is fully listening, fully present, fully trying to soak in whatever it is that I'm sharing, like, no. because the energy, it was so much for me to try to put it out there and just have it be like, me being like, here's the thing that I care most about, and having somebody be like, whatever, and just, not even trying to be cruel or hurtful or whatever, like whatever it is. But it was just, it's so much, like you said, to like try to put that out and not have it be met or seen or held. And so sometimes it's just like, okay, no, like it's okay that you don't have the presence or that you can't. I know that you can't understand whatever it is, but in that case, yeah, you're gonna get the like, I've got a tech startup.
Yeah. Yeah, I run a software as a service business.
Is that technically what we? I should know the answers to these questions, but I'm like, are we?
Yeah, I mean we're many things. We're a unicorn,
Are
you
many
know.
things.
uh, so I'm not sure if you've checked your texts yet. I know
I
we've
have, but I
spoken a
haven't
lot.
read them or
Yeah,
listened to them because I woke
I
up.
know we've spoken a lot about me getting ahead of myself. So I didn't do that with Portugal. I don't think. I think I did a good job of just like I found it, I applied, and then I let it be. I don't think it's the path because they would have allegedly let me know last week, and the
Right.
interview would be Thursday. And I'm just trusting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm grateful not to write it off, but I am grateful that I don't have to make a decision. Like decisions will always be made for me if I am present enough to notice the signs, the omens. Um, and I think from the start I saw it, and it like the point at which I saw it, it was like it was a dark day, and it was just the light. It was the orgastic green light I needed in that moment to be like, oh, like this is what life could be. It was never about the PhD. It was always
Mhm.
about Portugal or the idea of Portugal,
Mhm.
somewhere outside of me where bliss exists. And I've already done that whole loop, I've gone to Greece, I've tried to escape myself. Wherever you go, there you are. And that's beautiful because when I find the bliss internally, which is the only place it will ever be, then I can just like be. And it doesn't matter where. Because that's the big question for me right now. Like, I know the who, I know who I am, I know what I want. The question is like, where do I go, And it's probably not San Clemente for much longer. So, long story short, as soon as you mentioned that like Netherlands NAFS visa,
Daft.
um, NAFT,
Daft
uh,
with a D,
daft.
which is funny
I
just because of that word, but yeah,
Oh, Dutch. That makes sense. Because
Dutch
at
American.
first I was thinking Taft, and then I was like
Yeah.
Netherlands, Dutch. Yeah, that
No, the Dutch
it's all
American
coming
Friendship
together.
Treaty,
Yeah, such a cute name.
isn't it?
I love
The
that.
50s were a different time.
They were the American dream that we have since written off. I did a really good job for like 10 to 15 minutes of not getting ahead of myself. I was like, okay, like we'll circle back on this. And then I was like in a meeting, a little bored. I'm like, okay, just one search for
One
apartments.
Google.
Just one Google. Just
I did. I clicked
one.
on the link you sent me. That's all that I did of the messages, and I was like, "That place beautiful," and he's thinking.
Mm-hmm. One hit of hypothetical dopamine became a few. That was like one of the like suggested ones, and so
Okay,
I generally see those. I'm like, suggested by whomst? The universe source, is that you? And
the
I
person
mean,
who owns this
yeah,
place.
yeah, view of the. It couldn't be that.
No, no, no.
But the lake view is what got me. Lake or river, canal, whatever it may be. Um, Bathroom was pretty crazy. I don't know. Now I'm just like I'm thinking, and it was a pretty beautiful spot.
I kind of knew I was going to be. I knew that what I was telling you wasn't just something I was telling you, which is actually interesting saying this out loud because I don't know if I've vocalized this, but like obviously you and I share so much, right? And we just tell each other everything. But it's very rare for something that I'm kind of relaying to you to feel like it's also for you, right? Not that I'm like, oh, I'm going to send you this, like trying to like change you or manipulate or whatever, but I'm like, no, 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 like I also kind of know that this isn't just like a me thing. Whatever this opens, like I know that this is probably relevant to you in some way. So who the heck knows, you know? But yeah, it's I spent all day yesterday talking to my friend Patricio, who's already over there.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, paving the
yeah,
way.
yeah. Um, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's funny because it's like this is something that's still kind of materializing, but I know I'm allowed to talk to it, you know, or talk about
Hmm.
it. Like the voice inside is like, no, 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 you can speak to this. And I'm still sitting with how it feels and the fact that like every time it's come up in the last 24 hours that I'm like, no, like you can kind of keep talking about this, you can keep exploring this. I'm like, this feels like it's an avenue that is going to be walked down, but it also is like too
Yeah.
soon to be like, no, like this is happening, right? But also I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm going to be in Europe in May and I may as well just jump on the visa then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Europe in May. What's in May?
So that's a great question. Oh, because the reality is at some point my the voice just told me that that's when I was going to be there. There's like some things that are relevant then, right? Like I have a
Yeah.
friend who's having a birthday week in Greece in the middle of May, which I'm invited to, but
Mm,
it's like
I
I
remember
don't,
this.
yeah.
Which
And if I'm in
island,
Europe,
or is it the mainland?
so it's actually Mykonos. And I
Wow, run it
just found that
back.
out a few days ago. And it's like
Okay. This is the
which
very
is
wealthy, like, it's gonna be a good time. Yeah.
it's like a giant villa with like its own pool and like multiple, yeah.
The dream.
um I would probably get my own place nearby if I went, just because like basically she's going to do like an open invite to everyone in her life, and she runs the spectrum of people like me down to people who are like, what if we spent a week just kind of like raging, you know? And I'm like, that's fine, you guys do whatever you want,
I
but I
love
don't
that specifically you said the spectrum down.
know. Across, sideways, lateral, from A to B. um but yeah, I just know me and I'm like, you know what, I think in theory being in that house with everyone sounds like fun, and in practice I would actually, it would just be a lot of energy. I mean, you saw me walking around downtown Mykonos last September, where I'm literally like, there's just so many people.
There's people. This is making me think of the story you told where like you were at a like normal public or not public, but like some social event and people were talking about Avatar and you're like, "Oh, the last Airbender," and they're like, "What's that?" That's my metric for if I fuck with someone, honestly.
Which Avatar are we talking about? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they were talking about like how how it had like really impacted them or whatever, and I, who was this? Because then I asked them like what kind of like bender they would be, and they like kept going with the
Mm.
conversation for a while. I was like, what would your like
Mm.
element be, you know? And then finally, and the way that they were responding, I was like, do you even know what earthbending is?
Mm.
It was like they said something. I was like, wait, what Avatar are you talking about? They're like, you know, like the you know, whatever. In their mind, it was the only one. It's like, okay, one, I just understood we're not having the same conversation, but two, you went really far down the path of talking about like bending when I don't think that that exists in
There, the
camping?
elements are a theme. Like I think the last
Are
one was
they?
like the way of water or like the way of fire. So like I could see the misconception. It's also like one of those things when like you don't really hear someone or understand them, and you're like, I'm just gonna keep going and hope that this like reconverges. So
Right,
it's
right.
a tough
Like they
one.
obviously thought they were having a real conversation with me in the
Yeah,
same way that I thought I was having a real conversation.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we weren't.
Sorry to distract from the grease tale.
No. Um, but yeah, so I may or may not be in Greece in mid-May. And yeah, I don't know. It's just something is kind of like that's when you're supposed to get to that side of the planet. So that's that.
One interesting, you want to go to a psychedelic conference
In
in the
London?
Netherlands?
Oh, in the
In the
Netherlands. Yeah, sure.
Netherlands.
There's one in
Um,
London too that we should go to.
Amazing. When's the London one?
Mm, early mid-May?
I don't know if I'll make it this year, but we'll see.
Okay.
The
When's the
the
one
one
in the
in the
Netherlands?
Netherlands, I went to. So it's every other year. I went
I
to the
remember.
one. Uh huh.
Yeah, because you
It
had to
was
ask for
really
money
cool.
for it.
Yeah, the grant. Oh, the days. It was really cool, and it's June 4th through 6th in the Netherlands. So it sounds like timing mayhaps will align.
Yeah.
Potentially could be like a RE funded event. We'll
I'm
see.
down. I'm down, baby.
It was cool. It was cool. I think any psychedelic conference you get like a very interesting mix of people. This one was like kind of the more like academic vibe. There's a lot of like different psychedelic PhDs and like research out there, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, it could be cool if you're there. It's in Harlem, so like if I recall, it was like a short drive from Amsterdam. Yeah.
I mean, the Netherlands is like the size of a strip mall. So,
Yeah.
like, as a whole, nothing's going to be more than like an hour away.
Yeah. This is true. This is very true. I
And
know.
yeah, that could
Yeah, go
be,
ahead.
no, that could just be good. Something like that, it would be, I'm excited to observe myself in an environment like that because
Mm-hmm.
a conference, even when it's like
Yeah.
a psychedelic conference, like it's still kind of me walking into this thing being like, oh, all of you really think that like you're the psychedelic professor, and it's just it's something that's so, we're all here to talk about like consciousness and healing and these deeper, bigger things that we've all kind of experienced and tiptoed into. And we're putting it in the box of what if we had a conference about it? you know? What if we made a speech that's
I
just like, okay,
yeah.
cool, sure.
They never cease to amaze me because every psychedelic conference I've gone to, and this comes back to the theme of like psychedelics and their ability to dissolve an ego, and then that ego comes back,
Mm-hmm.
10 times stronger, where like
With a
people,
vengeance.
uh-huh, and then they aren't aware of it, but they're like even more squarely in whatever character they're playing and whatever psychedelic they think will treat whatever disorder, and it becomes so rigid. um
Mm.
and so it's interesting. I mean, it's also, I think, always a mirror. Like there's people of all different, along the spectrum of like where they're at in the journey, and so it's like you'll kind of attract what you are. um but yeah, I mean, it would be, of any mirror, it would be a very entertaining one. And like you said, sometimes the most entertaining is like seeing how you act around these people. And conferences, I find, genuinely, I'm like fully like talking you out of this while telling you about it. Like they are so exhausting. So exhausting. Because you're kind of putting on the face. I guess maybe I don't need to anymore. I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say, is that like for me, I could not make this my whole life because it would drain me so quickly. But there is something that's actually like really fun for me about walking into an environment that's still that kind of like structured and whatever, whatever it
Yeah.
is, and just being like, I'm just 1 billion% the human that I am. And I'm not trying to like poke buttons or stir whatever, but I'm also like, I'm not putting on the mask, I'm not doing whatever, and kind of like
Yeah.
watching how the environment reacts to that,
Hmm.
you know? And there's a little bit of like, I don't know, like wiliness on some level in me, right? Where I'm like, how do I dismantle this system? And like the thoughts of whatever, just by being like, okay, but like, what if you didn't write a manual,
Yeah.
Like, what if you didn't
What
have to
if we
do it?
didn't?
Um, and I think that in a lot of ways, that's who I was, like what my coding was for like a very long time in my life before I actually kind of like left so much behind. It wasn't that I was that all the time because it was really hard, but there were enough times where I was just like, yeah, like there's a lot. I was thinking about this the other day. There's a lot of jobs that that like after I left the place that I was working, like kind of imploded a little bit because like I would show up. I worked in craft beer and bartending and stuff like that for a long time for people who don't know me. And I would like get a job at a brewery or at a bar or whatever it was. And a lot of the times, like they treated people really terribly and there were a lot of awful practices and just like thing, and I would talk to other people who had been working there and they'd be like, well, this is just how it is and like the money's okay and whatever, and I'd be like, no, like you can't you can't do that. Or I'd like look up like laws that they were breaking and start like telling people about, and basically just like come in and be like, all of this is bullshit. And
Yeah.
eventually I'd be like, I'm not working here anymore because this, for whatever reason sucks. And then I would leave. And then I'd talk to somebody like 6 months down the line and they'd be like, oh yeah, like everything's like on fire now. And it was never like, you started this fire and now all of it, whatever. But I'm like, that place was a fully functional establishment for 5 years that was just like robbing people blind. And now
Yeah.
they're crumbling because I just got my little proletariat class to realize they were being slaves to the system. And then I'm like, by the way, I'm gonna leave.
I'm seeing themes arise on a weekly basis. This one is the Aries theme again, where like goddess of war, and I was already thinking that, and then you're like, and then it's on fire. I'm like, okay, fire sign.
And I'm just like
Tracks.
prancing away. Just like with it's like that meme with the little girl with like the house that's burning down
Hmm.
behind her,
Hmm.
where it's like, okay.
That's the level of sass I saw in the bug portal. I like, did you put like a smiley face? Am I remembering that correctly?
So
Because if so,
sometimes
like, crazy, crazy work.
genuinely I'm just trying to be like, this is yeah. That's me trying to operate in like business relations, right?
Yeah.
That's like me putting that version of me forward. Well, because sometimes it's like I try to be as matter of fact as possible, and then
Uh,
also I'm like being matter of fact is kind of dirty.
yeah.
And so then maybe a little smiley face makes it less so, except actually it just makes it worse.
It is such a balance because, like, I think part of it is like I know you, and also like we're reporting something that is broken, so we're very obviously like not happy about it. But I could see how like they may read that and be like, oh, okay, like she added a little smiley face, a little colon with a parenthesis, so that means she's not angry. Or they'll read it as I did and be like, that's a bit sassy. Either way, doesn't really matter. I've noticed though I do depending on like the setting, like whether it's work and who I'm talking to, is like I'll put in an exclamation point
Mm-hmm.
to like make it seem like I'm more friendly. But something I
Mm-hmm.
do that's even more nuanced is like I don't do the exclamation point right after the last letter. I do a space in between. Because for some reason in my mind it makes it like slightly less, it's just like a bit less jarring. Have I done this to you? Probably
No, but
not. I send you more emojis.
I just need you to know that you just said it's a bit less jarring, and I am jarred. I
You're jarred. Yeah, I know. Do we
am
have a
jarred.
chat feature? I'm gonna send you like exactly what I would
No, I
say.
understand what you mean. So
Okay.
when I get messages and emails from people that have spaces between words and punctuation, I'm always like, what kind of seizure was this person having when they wrote
Dang.
this?
That's
Or like
crazy.
why what attention to detail didn't they have that there's all of like it's never once occurred to me that that was like intentional because as a
It's so
recovered like
intentional.
grammar, you know, person who used to really care about the
Hmm.
grammar, like that's not how punctuation works.
I think okay, okay. So
Wow.
in the work setting, I use the normal exclamation point. If I'm like texting a friend, I think the most common usage is like sounds good. If I'm texting a friend, sounds good. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
sounds good exclamation point because that's
Right,
a bit
right, right.
cheesy. But I'll do like sounds good space exclamation point because it feels a bit more like chill. I don't know. I can't really explain it.
That jars me less, like in a
Okay.
text. Every once in
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
while, in a text form, I too will include a space, but to me, that almost feels like it almost feels like I'm intentionally texting like a boomer, like it's a bit where I'm just like,
You do like an
this,
ellipses.
exactly. Like, oh, like your cousin's in the hospital, dot, dot, dot. Like, okay,
Yeah.
text
My
out of the
mom will
world.
text me like K dot dot dot. I'm like, geez, like chill
She hates
out.
you. She
Like, why do you hate me? Never ask me how I'm doing again.
Oh my god. Yeah, really bad, mom. It's been a terrible day. K.
Literally.
Oh. Sometimes I'll hit my mom back with the same text style that she hits me with, and I don't know if she realizes that we're doing that, you know? But
Mm.
for me, it can be
Hmm.
fun to kind of just be like, okay, I'm gonna meet you wherever you're at, and we're just gonna have
Yeah.
this thing, and like that for me is a game that she may or may not be playing. Um, yeah.
Speaking of moms, this made me think of like what we were talking about earlier, where they like say something and you're just like unreasonably angry. That happened today. I told her about the North Carolina retreat, the one in
Mhm.
Nashville, um, because I was asking for a ride to the airport. And I realized I hadn't told her about it prior to that, which was very intentional. So, like, rather than her just being like, yeah, I can drive you, it's close, it's like 20 minutes away. Rather than her just being like, sure, she was like, you're going to North Carolina? Like, all these questions. And I'm like at work because I thought it would be a quick conversation. And
It's a
then I'm
yes or
just
no
like
question,
livid.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like livid even though she's like doing me a favor. And then I get home today or to the office today and she's here and my sister's here as well and she's like I'm in my room working and I hear her like, "Oh, Mia, did Kian tell you he's going to North Carolina?" And I'm just like, "That's mine to tell." You know, like
Uh-huh.
why you're just making conversation with my tea now. And like again, does not matter and it's like literally my sister. So like, yeah, I don't care if she knows, but it's kind of again that like Hmm. I think it's the mirror. It's the same thing where it's like I then she's like, "Why are you going?" I'm like, "Could not tell you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It
My
found
heart
me."
told me. Yeah.
Yeah, even when I had the call with like the retreat organizers and they're kind of like asking me like why I'm going. I'm like telling them about me and my life. I'm like, and that has nothing to do with your retreat. It does. Like there's components to it, like specifically the mind component that I'm interested in exploring. But I'm like, honestly, like it found me, the signs aligned. Let's do it. You know,
Yeah.
no more questions. Yeah, and that's next week already.
I'm so excited for you.
Staying at the Rainbow Vista
Mhm.
Airbnb. I did find someone to join me there
Oh,
from the retreat, so
you have two
slightly
ovens, so you
less.
guys can make like 8 cakes.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
world the world is our oyster.
I actually ended up not going to most of the events of the retreat because we had these
Just
two
kicked
ovens and we
it.
just kept baking.
It was, I mean, the spot is beautiful, so I'm stoked on that. I still know like very little about Asheville or North Carolina in general, but I'm excited. And now I have like pretty much something almost every month through the end of the year, which feels good. And who knows, maybe New Zealand in December, we meet up not in New Zealand, in Australia, because we are meeting in Australia,
We can do
and
both.
we could do both. Or who knows, maybe it'll be the Netherlands at that point. I don't know. This is the first time. There's layers to what I'm about to say. This is the first time where, like, consciously, I've been willing to accept that I have no clue what my life looks like in a year. Like, no clue. Especially the where, but honestly, like many other variables. I know the important things, the why, like the purpose, and the how, the what, the re, the finer living, but no clue where. And that a couple years ago would have terrified me. But at the same time, like the things that I knew were the things that brought me the most stress because I thought I knew what my life looked like and
Hmm.
was going to look like forever. And then there was the delta between what I thought and what was actually happening, and that's what caused me the stress. And now it's like I have no clue what my life is going to look like in a couple years. So it's like I'm not beholden to some expectation that I set, or even worse, society set for me, like decades ago or before my birth, even. Now it's just like, yeah, I mean, there's no better time than now. The world is like so, hmm, I guess, flexible, like pick your path. Excited to see which one I end up on.
I love that you use the word flexible to describe the world right now. Um,
Mm, mm-hmm,
there were a lot of adjectives that went through my Rolodex. Flexible wasn't
mm-hmm.
one of them,
Me
and I
too.
think that that's yeah. The pause was palpable.
Mm-hmm,
But the world is so flexible. I made a reel about this yesterday.
mm,
Yeah, that we're in this, if we bring it out from just us, right? If we bring it to that like societal level, human consciousness, human beings right now, that it's like we really are at this kind of like, okay, so what's it going to be? Right?
yeah,
Like, because the old stuff, the stuff, again, if we literally take what you just said about your own life, because everything's a mirror, right? And if you
mm,
just take that away from Kian's timeline and put it on the human timeline, where it's like, well, the stuff that before birth, you know, that society was like, this is how it's going to be, that has been, the veils have been lifting, the things have been being shaken for a while now. And we're kind of at this spot where it's just like a lot of things that we thought were aren't. A lot of paths that we thought we were on have dissolved. And there's a period for a lot of people where that's really scary. And that makes sense, right? But then it's also like, okay, but you're collectively, we're at this space where it's like, well, if the things that you thought existed don't exist, and the things that you thought you had to do aren't actually things that you have to do, what are we going to do with that? How are we going to be flexible with this? And for a lot of people, that is terrifying, right? And obviously the people that have, you know there's power and there's money and there's a lot of systems at play, even as the systems are kind of shifting. But we really are at the spot of just being like, okay, what path are we going to choose? And there's a really, really, really beautiful path that we can all take, but it takes all of us taking it, right? But that's literally, it's also like it has to happen in each individual. So like you and me being like, well, I'm going to do what lights me up and do the inner work and go on this journey and then try to help people and do whatever that is, that it's like, okay, that's part of that building of like the flexibility of that different future. It's all connected. It's beautiful.
there are infinite paths before us right
Mhm.
now. And now I'm like I'm seeing why it is. I mean, I believe that like at a soul level we choose when we come, where we come, why we come.
Right.
um
Yeah. Sometimes it's a conversation, but for the most part, we get to choose.
Okay. Oh God. That was so not intentional
I
that
know,
I'm
but
aware of, but that was so good. Yeah, so I know that we're talking about something really important, but I'm gonna talk about where I'm
you just completely derailed this conversation. It's like what it really comes down to for me is like, where are you planting your seed?
gonna. Oh God. Um,
Oh, we bring it
what
into
I
some
was
like Aubrey
intending.
Marcus thing, not to name drop. Okay,
we're,
anyway,
we're
but yes,
getting we're getting very Freudian. No,
we
the
incarnate for a
direction.
very real purpose.
Like we're literally just here to procreate. F
We
all
know.
that noise.
I mean, it can. Mm, the metaphors connect, right? Because it's like, well,
They
you
do.
do kind of show up. It's all of it. You choose when you
Yeah.
come, and through that, then you're actually like, that's the moment that I'm
Wow.
being conceived.
See, I could not even fathom the level of layers to that statement. At a soul level beyond the physical seed and incarnation version of coming. I think we do choose when we come, and like, what better time than now?
What
Truthfully,
better time to
truthfully,
know?
what better time than
Literally.
now? Like right now, we are about to witness the craziest. I mean, I like that you said shift. I noticed the pause. I was thinking collapse. Shift is a bit more optimistic, but the craziest transfer of like, I mean, I want to say power, I want to say wealth, I want to say all of the things. Truthfully, everything. Like everything is about to change.
He's gotta
Because
go.
the truth came out, the age of Aquarius, and like what better time to be an Aquarius as well, Like pop off. The
Just gonna
truth came
drop that.
out. Mic drop. The truth is out, and it's like no longer. It's almost a relief now for like all of the, I guess, conspiracy theorists out there that have been like aware of these truths for like decades or longer,
Mhm.
to where now everyone's like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And we're just like, we've been new. So like what is very jarring for a lot of people is just like now a relief in some ways to us, all wager, where it's like, okay, well now not everyone thinks I'm crazy, and like now from here, okay, we can see that we are not the enemy. My neighbor, my uncle, whoever it is, we're like sure on the like political line we're probably still in the different spot, but now they're probably going to realize the horseshoe theory is correct, and that like no matter who's president, they're not on your team, because the
They've always
president
hated you.
the president's a puppet. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, and like
right,
I don't want to make it political, but like it's the same people behind the president, behind the wars, behind both sides.
right.
And so
And the
from here, it's like,
reason, sorry,
no,
no,
go,
it's
go.
like the reason that your political team has never actually made any progress is because there's progress, whatever it is that you think that they should be, is because literally it would not serve them
Yeah,
to like their whole power exists in the battle, in the struggle. And so if they actually advance the agenda that they say that they're going to advance, it's like, well, now they've just lost all of their power. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's a sports game, and everybody's just screaming for their team to win. And it's like, well, there's no one's actually playing the game. They're playing their own game. They're just pretending that it's, yeah. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
no. I mean, I was just gonna keep rambling. That and there's like, yeah, I mean, all of the people in power, the like puppet figures. There's like blackmail beyond what I could even imagine. Because, you know, like I kind of knew that there were like people behind the scenes, but I had never really gone that deep down the rabbit holes of like what
Hmm.
they were actually doing, like the heinous, diabolical things, specifically as it pertains to like children. And now I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it had to go already, but now it's like, okay, like this is, you know, it's time. It's time. And it's time or like I mean, that's the thing. Where the reason or part of the reason I think that this time is so, I guess, maybe exciting isn't the right word, but like transformational is that you know, it's either it's going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. And like really bad could just be it ending. Like I don't want to get dark, but like
And
that's
it's got to
a
go.
route.
It's not
Yeah,
going to be fun
but
to live that if that's the way
yeah.
that it goes, but it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, we are a cancer. If we can't heal this,
Mhm.
we got to go. Like,
I remember when I originally like with my whole I guess indoctrination where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do engineering and then I'm gonna work in sustainability and I'm gonna end climate change and I'm gonna save the planet, like that whole path. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's actually a voluntary human extinction movement. I remember coming across that where it's like we just stop, you know, just stop coming. Stop coming.
stop it. Just stop.
Just stop
No.
it.
I
I
mean,
obviously that's never gonna happen because that's counter to our human nature. But at a deeper level, like I think that we could kind of extinct ourselves. You know, I know that's not the right grammar right there, but it that's a super feasible reality right now.
I mean, one, yes, we could literally just like end ourselves in a very dramatic and painful way. Obviously, that's a very real possibility. And there's something like a lot of people are choosing not to make more people. That's a very
Yeah,
real decision that's being
it's
made by
true.
millions of people in a bunch of society. I mean, look at the birth rate of Japan and Korea. And Japan and Korea is less maybe lack of desire to have children and more the fact that it's literally like they don't have time because they work 80 hours a week and they have
Yeah.
some stuff that they need to work on as a society. But it's just like, a lot of people are like, why would I bring a child into this world?
Yeah.
And or, there's I hmm, I want to say this delicately because it's like there is no right or wrong, right? But in a lot of hmm, a lot of beings that have incarnated and are towards the end of their incarnation of their like life cycles, apparently will choose not to have children. If you are like, a
Hmm.
highly evolved soul that's like pretty much ready to just be done,
Mm-hmm.
apparently that's a path that a lot of those beings will take because it's just kind of like, what, I'm here to kind of do the work and there's like a grander mission. And to be clear, having children is an incredibly grand mission, especially when
Yeah.
it's taken with the love and the care of being like, I am bringing this soul into the world and really nurturing them and fostering them and recognizing that like you are a steward of that human's life path, right? Which is
Yeah.
what parenting should be. um but yeah, like, and obviously there's a lot of people that are just like, I don't want to have kids because I can't afford it or because I don't want to or whatever. And I think that it's a sign of consciousness shift that a lot of people are like, you know what, this one's actually for me and I've
Yeah.
got work to do, and recognizing ancestral trauma and recognizing like so many things beyond themselves of being like, yeah, no, this line is done. Um and, I think if slash when we end up taking the path collectively of shifting things to a better, more harmonious place, right? Then it's like, okay, that's actually, you create a world where you want to bring more souls in, where you actually
Yeah.
are creating community and sustainability and all of that. And it's like, okay, cool. Then maybe some of those beings come back and they're like, yeah, now this is a worthy environment, right? To like bring a human into. Um, but we've got to make that.
Gotta make it.
Yeah.
Here we are.
It's, mm, should we allow this to end or should I open up another?
Your call. I'm always down for more.
So, one of the things that you said a few minutes ago, right, where you're just like talking about all of the stuff that is finally being brought to light that, some people have been aware of, call them conspiracy theorists or whatever you want, that people have known for years and that the rest of society was like, that's not a thing. And now it's like, oh no, there's literal documents, like there's literal evidence, it is a thing. Um, it's been really interesting, going back to what I was saying way at the start of just kind of being like the things that you know, but you can't explain, or the things that you can't talk to other people about because you don't really like have the words for, but you know in your heart and soul to be true. Like, in the last few years, I have befriended some people. I almost said beings because like some of them are
Hmm.
actually they're real evolved beyond a spot, they're just kind of like almost
Yeah.
like entities at this point. Um, but I have a few friends who are kind of so deep down their own paths that it's really hard for them to interface with other human beings. Where like they spend a lot of time kind of in isolation and they're doing a lot of like deep inner work, but also kind of like work for the collective, but it's just like
Grid
within
work.
themselves. And
Hmm.
a lot of them for years have been talking about, ooh, and I want to be really careful with how I share this because
Hmm.
they don't share it. But I
Yeah.
know that I'm allowed, like what I'm saying, I know I'm allowed to say. But basically, and these are like different people that don't know each other.
Yeah.
But in certain conversations that we'd had where they would basically be like some of the stuff that they were uncovering, be that in just their own meditative spaces, places that they were going to, or things that they were reading or seeing, but the level of darkness and corruption, especially when it comes to children and how children are
Hmm.
being treated and the terrible, terrible things that are happening. And these friends of mine, they're like, they're just like, this is where the darkness and the eventual maybe light comes from, but they have been
Yeah.
so aware of it for so long and hardly spoke of it, talking to me about it. They're like, they kind of were like, I know that you can understand and hold
Yeah.
some of this, but it's just, and I've always believed them, but also knew that like going down the paths that they were going down wasn't my journey, right? But it's
Journey.
just kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, hearing some of this stuff 3 4 years ago from somebody who's like, they're not like a YouTuber with the they're just someone who's like
Yeah.
living in a hut somewhere being like, I see the darkness of humanity and I'm seeing all of these layers. And so for me to just kind of be sitting back being like, okay, that's like the root of so much of this, and then having all of it, I don't know, like it's just really terrible and fascinating watching so much of the stuff that like you have known or seen or heard about or whatever it is, and just kind of been like, okay, I kind of see how these things are coming together, and then getting to the spot in the timeline where it's like, oh yeah, all
Hmm.
of it is,
It's
and then
coming to
recognizing,
light.
yeah, being like in part of, like you were saying before, that it's like, as a lot of people are now starting to realize this. And when you're one of the people, and not even just in the corruption scene, right? Just in the kind of like everything needs to fall idea, and that everything's kind of broken and manufactured and all of that. But it's like part of the role now of being somebody who has been doing a lot of this work, thinking about a lot of this stuff for a lot of years, is that it's like, okay, so now you and I have understood this. We've integrated it. We've done the inner work on ourselves to just like, it's all connected, right? And now it's like, okay, as the rest of the world is starting to be like, wait a second, that part of the role that we have is to be like, yeah, 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 we're here, we've got you, right? Like we can kind of help you
Shine our
move.
light.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. It's wild. The stuff that it's just like I couldn't have spoken to it, I couldn't have put logic to it, but it's all the stuff that like for years you're just kind of sitting there being like, uh-huh, yeah,
Hmm.
I think that that's uh-huh, and then it just kind of like lands in the real world. It's like, okay, well, there's that.
Now it's this mirror too, where it's like, as you were saying, like we this is reflecting humanity beyond any individual or collective, like humanity's deepest darkness, like core depravity. Um, and so it's this mirror where it's like we have to look inward first. Like each person has to look inward and not necessarily conquer our darkness, but come to terms with it, you know? Because as soon as you're aware of your shadow, it just becomes a part of you. It's not something that controls you without you knowing. Because it is. It's just the shadow. It's the reflection of the light. Um, and so like the more that we as individuals can navigate that darkness and share the darkness and the light, they coincide, the more that other people can reflect on their own, and it's just like, yeah, thoughts and prayers, this beautiful butterfly effect.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's it's the integration of that shadow, right? That is really, really hard for so many people and societally. It's like seeing it and just being like if the darkness that lives in society, it's also because it lives within us.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not to the same levels, right? Like of course, and when I say that, it's like you and I would never do the things that that there are some beings that they would do the things, right, and have done the things. And there is this like, okay, but the phony holy thing that I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like spiritual community, a lot of religious communities where it's just like
Yeah.
we're all gonna just be the perfect version and we don't have any of that. And then it's like, well, okay, how come all of your priests are abusers? How come
Yeah.
all of your, like the people that hate gay people are secretly on Grinder? How come, it's just like so we need to recognize that everybody is
Uh-huh.
trying to pretend that they are fitting into this mold of what we've decided
Yeah.
is what is supposed to be. And every single person is doing that while pushing away whatever their version of darkness is. And it's
Mm.
like, no, you can be all of it. But when we try to push things into the shadows, that's when they become monsters, right? Like a monster's only a monster when you can't see it and it's allowed to operate out of sight. When it's like, no, like you
Yeah.
can just, and again, I mean, this is, I want to be clear that I'm not talking about harming people, depraved, terrible, awful
Yeah.
things, that it's not like, oh, you just need to talk about that and then you're allowed to, like, like that is not what I'm saying. Yeah, but it's just, it's that recognition. And I think that's something that I've really come, that's been a really hard part of my personal journey is allowing allowing the shadowy parts of me to be seen more and recognizing that that's actually a major part of my purpose on this earth because like
Hmm.
I do present as a very like shiny sparkly literally bouncy like
Hmm.
person, and there is all of that other underworldy, darky, whatever. And it makes a lot of people really uncomfortable when they're like, but you seem so happy. And I'm like, uh-huh, you know? And right. But being able to be like, no, like I have to be all of these things. If you can't handle the fact that I am all of these things, that's on you. But
Yeah.
part of, yeah, part of like allowing other people to be all of those things is allowing myself to be all of them as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're breaking the mold. The
Breaking the
world is
mold.
flexible right now. A new path will be chosen. I'm excited to see which one it is.
Yeah, me too.
And once again, as always, grateful to be on the path with you.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Always fun.
Love you, Lindy.
I love you so much.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.